And we're back. Welcome back to Master Guitar and our Coffee Talks. Last time I talked about proper planning prevents poor performance and what does it take to get signed to a record contract. Let's talk about number 2. This one is kind of important, and people are always asking me for advice about their career. Hang on. I used to be a guitar teacher and I had to teach people a lot. Well, that was my job. I had to teach them. And I had to teach them a lot of stuff, a lot of different content. I had to constantly be, working on their guitar skills and everything. I'm gonna do a third one right after this about why you should aim for being a shredder. We'll get into that in a little bit. But for this one, let's carry on from what we got. What's your age? And this one, I told this one the last one, but I was with a band out of Chicago, and I wasn't from Chicago. They had seen me on the internet and they wanted to hire me as their guitar player. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I listened to their album. They actually sent me their album. I thought it was very cool. They'd had their album pressed, printed, and everything. They had another guitar player and they weren't really happy with him for a number of reasons. That should probably be video number 4 because that's crucial stuff for you. If you get hired on by a band and their mindset is we're the band and you're the guitar player, that's kind of a good way to be. It's kind of not a good way to be. There's pluses to that, and one of them is that it creates a mindset that it actually will be perceived by the fans that the band is here, you are the guitar player, hot gun guitar player, and the band perceives that, and it's not like where it's extreme and you say I'm Nuno Betancourt or whatever. Hey Nuno, I haven't talked to you since 1990. It was a long time ago. Man, that was almost 10 years ago. Anyway, getting back to the band, I contacted, and I told this one the last one, I contacted a manager. There were several managing companies I'd seen, and I contacted him and said, hey, we're on the charts in Europe. And his first question was that everyone in the oldest person in the band has to be under 27. Well, that's not the case because everyone in the band was at least in their 40s. I think the singer was 47 or 48 at the time. And we are talking in the early 2000s that I was talking to them. And that was their attitude then. So, bottom line, you got to be under 27. So let's just say you're 28. All right, let's go ahead and start thinking about proper planning prevents poor performance. Now you've got to start thinking about, I'm going to have to be a studio musician, I'm going to have to be a gigging musician, but as far as being a pro musician that is always, be on the wedding circuit. There's no shame in that. You're making money. You're making good money. Be on the party circuit. Learn some 80s tunes, dance tunes. I remember when we were playing a nightclub. One of the bands I was in, it was called 2001. Very good band. And one of the nightclubs that used to have us all the time, they try to get us once a month because they loved the show. We were a very high energy show, and that was one where I came into it and they'd already established the band. They'd already established the presence of the band. It was one of those, jump up on the tables of the people who are there at the club and stand there, on the table playing, and jump down, run back up on the stage. Big pyro show back in the days when you could do that. Big light show, big stage setup. Always be thinking in terms of pro. You've got to look professional. You've got to look professional. You've got to look professional. People want to pay for a professional. They don't want to pay for some guy, standing there in jeans, picking his nose on stage. If you're under 27, you now have your deadline. You have to get your band in a recording studio. You've got to get your promo packet with good photographs. Talked about that in the last one. Be prepared to pay several $100s for a photographer. You got to have a YouTube channel. You've got to have a SoundCloud channel. Couldn't hurt to have Reverb Nation. You need Twitter. You probably Facebook, and definitely LinkedIn also, because if they see that you've got a LinkedIn profile for the band, it's going to look more professional when you actually apply. Actually look for a manager, and you're like, hey, here's our social media platform. And they see the LinkedIn, they know automatically you're being professional. Okay, great. They've got their act together. This is good. I can work with them. Managers don't want to have to work too hard. They don't. No one wants to have to know, okay, I've got to go in there and work 3 times as hard. And literally when your career is on the line and the manager knows he can just talk to you and say, hey, you're not pulling in the numbers. They know you're going to take that seriously. You've got a lot of work to do. If you're 16, you got 11 years to do it. If you're 18, you got 9 years to do it. If you're 25, you have 2 years. You need to get hot. You need to get moving. You need to get planning. You need to say, we need to have this, 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 and this. You got to have 15 quality top songs. Not just songs where, like I talked in the last one, you can't just say, I like this part. This part's the best part of the song. The rest of the song's kind of but I really love this part. Okay, ditch that song. Keep the part. Write a new song around that part. You've got to be ready to go. And the entire band has to work on their musicianship. You've got to be tight, tight, tight. You can't have the little clams. You can't have the little problems. I mean, I know you're putting me through this very same, just for an example, you're putting me through the very same thing when you're watching my videos and you hear that odd little, where just for a second my concentration falters just a bit and I'm getting distracted because my cat's, looking really cute on the floor in front of me and I'm trying to show groups of 4, 192 beats a minute, but you hear that little, it jumps out there, you hear it. I mean, I can remember when I was in that band, we were playing live, we were playing Empire by Queensryche. We were known for playing all the songs that everybody said, that's too hard a song to play. So we'd get out there and we'd play those songs that everyone said, that song's too hard for everyone to play. Plus you always had to play the songs that everybody wanted to hear, but all the songs, I mean, we did Painkiller. We would get out there and we would blast Painkiller. And while the other drummers were afraid to try it, our drummer was doing it. All right, so your band has to be good, it has to be focused, it has to be tight. Anyone in the band that really isn't on the same wavelength that the rest of you are on, we've got to get signed to a major label. Record, tour, record, tour, record, tour, record, tour. If they're not on that mindset, then as much as you like them, you may have to tell them, look, I'm sorry, we're focused on going to the top. If you're not focused on going to the top with us, then we're gonna have to say goodbye. We found this other guy, he's just a good drummer or bass player or whatever. We want you to be with us to the top. But if your focus is not, I want that. If your focus is not that, then you're holding us back. So you got to decide, do you want to go with us, or do we have to talk to this other guy that's, technically just as good as you, but he's not you? We'd rather have you, but we got to get where we got to get. Time's ticking. I'm 25. We got 2 years to go. That one person could slow the band down to the point where it's happened many times where record company actually will point out somebody and they'll say, we like you, you, and you, but you got to go. And the band has to make that decision right now. Man, I'm sorry, but this is our chance, and you're holding us back. And record companies and managers pick up on that. Next, let's talk about the music. Music's got to be good. Music's got to be tight. There's got to be something. Record companies like same but different. If they can point to somebody that's been a success and say, we're like them, but a little different. And you got to be able to tell them how you're a little different. We're edgier, we're more aggressive, we're less aggressive, we're more polished. They were a really good heavy band, but they didn't have guitar solos. We got a hot gun guitar player. Let's let him play. And so there's got to be something they can put their finger on and say, hey, we like you better. Coffee interlude. Recording. Yeah, you can record in the box. Just be prepared. You've got to have when you're recording, it's got to be perfect takes, no clams, and you're going to have movable baffles. Baffles are easy. Get a 4x4 of plywood and get some foam, just glue it on there, nail it on there. I don't care what you do, but have them to be able to move around so that you can do stuff with it. And here's a great thing. When you're trying to fix a part, the whole band's playing, you're recording everything, it's great. It's better to do that, have that as a scratch track, and then everyone go in and work on their individual parts and nail them down. But when you're doing that, take the drummer's snare drum out of the room or wrap it in a towel, or wrap it in a blanket, because the snares on that are going to go zzz, 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 the whole time you're recording. Learn how to do side chain compression. Learn how to send from one channel to another. Learn how to get a tone generator. This will be in your software. Unless you're recording all hardware, now you've got to go out and buy a tone generator. And you can buy rack mount tone generators, 19 inches wide, and basically what it is you're going to use a gate. You're just going to mic your bass drum, run it into the gate, and the gate goes straight into a the tone generator. And what that's going to do, set it for 60 cycle, and just bit, and you can set the volume on that so that whenever your bass drum hits, because I remember when everyone was Crimson Glory, they were talking about the drummer. It's like, how is he getting that drum tone? That's amazing. Well, they had gated reverb, and they used a tone generator on the bass drum, and that was the first time we ever had that. They even had that on the drum. I remember one of my drummers was making snide comments, but I know he's that's not even really him playing that's a drum machine. No, it wasn't a drum machine. It was gated reverb and a tone generator, and I think he was even doing it on the toms to give it that sound. All right. Quality recording, quality songs, quality appearance, quality press kit. I mean, you've got to be able to look at it and not say, is it better than Billy Joe Bob's down the road, or is this on par with professional bands? Because you got to remember, the professional bands are sometimes between managers, and this guy may be getting phone calls from these other bands. Okay, going to talk about 2 more things in the next videos. I'm going to talk about sharks in the music business. There are a lot of those. And then I'm going to get on to why you should be a shredder. All right, well, remember, comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what kind of content you would like to see, what things you would like to have addressed in these coffee talks, and we'll see you next time.